Hi, this is Edgar from Data Trust, presenting cybersecurity. What is cybersecurity? Cybersecurity is protecting IT systems from internal and external threats. Threats can include malware, DOS attacks, phishing, code injection, and identity theft. Some cybersecurity scenarios. Scenario 1. Online identity. This includes theft of data and clients that represents them online, such as usernames, passwords, social media accounts, and biometric identifiers such as fingerprints. The key things to consider are authentication, identity theft, social engineering, for example phishing, and privacy settings that are secure but not too restrictive. The first scenario, personal and organizational data. These are assets that must be protected from unauthorized access, modification, or deletion. Key things to consider are human factors, training, compliance, and regulation, backups, access control, and confidentiality of data. Cybersecurity threats evolve at a fast pace. Cybersecurity is similar to a war situation, where it's a fight between the attackers and the defenders. Some of the trends include 1. An increased sophistication of phishing attacks. 2. The role of generative AI giving rise to impersonations and deep fakes. 3. Growth in reliance on cloud services. And number 4. Increasing regulations to combat the threats. The data trust policy I chose was the password protection policy. Password protection is an important part of securing data. Length and complexity determine the strength of the password. Passwords that are too weak are subject to data breaches. The main parts are password creation, choosing a secure, unique password and potentially securing further with multi-factor authentication. Password changing. Change the passwords if you suspect they were compromised. Changing passwords every month or so is no longer considered necessary. Password protection. Ensuring passwords are not written down or shared with anyone. Application development. Creating secure software systems that prevent access breaches through role management, secure authentication, code injection prevention, and closing reported breaches. Privacy frameworks. NIST CSF is built around 5 key functions. Identify, learning the privacy risks. Protect, implementing measures to protect privacy. Detect, monitoring for breaches. Respond, developing a response process in case of a breach. Recover, promptly restoring backed up data in case of an incident. Relevance to personal privacy. Data governance. NIST CSF have experts to help organizations understand the risks to privacy. Preventative measures. Strong measures such as encryption and access controls ensure personal data can't easily be compromised. Rapid incident response. Helps reduce the severity and impact of breaches that could affect personal information. Resilience and trust. Compliance with NIS guidelines helps improve the public's trust in organizations. CIS controls. These are best practices that each organization can implement. They include controlling hardware and software assets, knowing what devices and software use personal data, data protection, encrypting sensitive personal data, access control, restricting who can view and modify personal data, security awareness and training, teaching staff about potential data security issues, incident response and management, processes to respond quickly to data breaches. Relevance to personal privacy. Having a set of researched best practices can help prevent threats to user data. They align with privacy laws such as GDPR and Australian privacy principles, making it more straightforward to implement. They reduce the attack vectors by securing firewalls, installing anti-malware, and applying patches to protect personal data. Education further reduces the risk of personal data breaches. Accountability, only allowing authorized personnel to access data and any changes are logged for compliance. The Essential 8. Application control, only allow trusted apps. Patch application. Keep software up to date with the latest security patches. Microsoft Office macro settings. Restrict or disable macros in Office files from the Internet to reduce malware delivery. User application hardening. Lock down web browsers, PDF readers, and other apps by disabling exploitable features. Restrict administrative privileges. Ensure access levels are maintained and only sharing information on a need-to-know basis. Patch operating systems. Keep OSs and other software up to date with the latest patches. Multi-factor authentication, MFA. Require at least 2 factors to verify a user's identity. Regular backups. Use more than one way to backup data, preferably on-site and off-site. Topic 2. It's important to note that cybersecurity is everyone's responsibility. The key components of computer systems to protect include firewalls. These can be at the hardware level, for example routers, or at the software level, in servers and client devices. A firewall is the first line of defense against unauthorized access to networks and data. Hardware, including PCs, routers, and servers. These need to be physically secured to protect from theft and tampering. Operating systems. Software that manages hardware and allows software to run. They need to be kept updated and configured correctly. Software systems. Programs that support the business such as Office, apps, and web browsers. Data storage. Where the data resides. This requires encryption and backups. Some practical steps to implement cybersecurity measures include physical security. Securing the hardware from theft and tampering through physical locks and CCTV surveillance. User authentication and access. Ensuring staff and clients can access their own data securely through passwords and 2FA, but don't have access to sensitive data without permission. Anti-malware software. It detects unauthorized activities and filters out malicious software. Education. Ensuring everyone is aware of cybersecurity and preventing them from becoming susceptible to social engineering such as phishing. Data audits. These are important to ensure the completion and integrity of data in an organization. Security response plans. Ensuring the organization can be up and running as soon as possible in the event of a data breach. Data backup and restoration. Ensuring data is backed up in multiple locations and that there's an adequate data restoration plan. Topic 3. Cybersecurity equipments and techniques. Base level maintenance. Scan for malware regularly to catch problems before they arise. Keep software up to date to ensure the latest security patches. Keep the computer physically clean and secure. For organizations, manage patches centrally for fast deployment using Windows Server Update services, for example. Run Windows maintenance at regular intervals during a time of low demand. Perform user account audits to ensure access is controlled properly. Personal troubleshooting. Have you tried turning it off and on again? This works for surprisingly many problems. Check physical connections such as plugs and peripherals. System Restore can resolve some issues. Task Manager can help find the culprit. Organizational troubleshooting. Standard operating procedures such as checklists to troubleshoot issues. Remote monitoring and alerts to detect problems as they occur. Ticketing systems to help staff report problems and resolve issues. System logs to find out the potential causes to issues. Cybersecurity technologies. Emerging Internet of Things devices, IoT. Any smart device can act as an entry point for cyber criminals to access the network. Items like cloud-connected CCTV and various tools can also be connected to the Internet. This makes it a particularly challenging aspect of cybersecurity. Types of attacks on IoT devices. DoD and DDoS attacks. Often, cyber criminals can take control of devices, using them as a bot army to commit DOS attacks, flooding a website with fake traffic to bring it down. Firmware exploits. Firmware is the software that helps IoT devices run. Cyber criminals exploit weaknesses in firmware to steal data or to wreak havoc. Credential exploits. Many IoT devices have generic and weak passwords, or worse yet, something like the default password such as admin. Like a car thief checking for unlocked cars, a cyber criminal will try to exploit the weakest entry point to the network. On-path attacks. Often the communication between devices is not encrypted. Cybercriminals will attempt to intercept that data to steal information. IoT best practices. Patching vulnerabilities, using more secure passwords rather than the default one, using MFA where possible, and auditing IoT devices for vulnerabilities. Wireless access points, WAP. These are devices that allow wireless communication between devices and/or the internet. Bluetooth and Wi-Fi are the most common wireless access protocols. Wireless networks are vulnerable to eavesdropping, unauthorized network access, and denial of service attacks. Securing WAPs occurs on different network layers and nodes. Access points control how devices connect to the network, acting as a bridge between the wireless and wired networks, for example, wireless routers. Methods to secure these devices. Checking the configuration of access points to ensure no vulnerabilities. Access is often controlled by a central WLAN controller, WLC. The WLC simplifies deployment and minimizes config errors. Disable any unused ports which could allow exploits. Use the latest possible versions of Wi-Fi to protect the data. Scan WAPs for nefarious behavior, logging all activities. Review the settings of WAPs. Server Message Block, SMB. A proprietary Microsoft Windows communication protocol used for file and printer sharing. While SMB provides the convenience of centralized file access, it's also a convenient vector for cyber criminals. Most cybersecurity failures around SMB involve organizations not implementing best practices to secure the network. Securing SMB. Update and patch the systems. Block SMB at the network level. Restrict access at the host level. Use secure authentication methods. Protect data with encryption. QUIC User Datagram Protocol, UDP. QUIC UDP is a relatively new and increasingly popular multiplexed network protocol. Its goal is to replace and increase performance over Transport Layer Security, TLS, and Transfer Control Protocol, TCP. However, it can be a bit of a nightmare for cybersecurity teams. The main problem is many legacy security devices such as firewalls can only work with TCP and can't work with QUIC traffic. This means that firewalls may be less effective at blocking incoming threats. To make matters worse, Google often revises the standards, requiring frequent updates to keep up. The good news is that unlike TLS, QUIC applies encryption to the transport layer by default. This improves privacy but can cause other challenges for cybersecurity teams. Firewall function and operation. A firewall monitors and protects networks from unauthorized access. You could view it as a checkpost that verifies traffic as legitimate or not, and allowing only legitimate traffic in or out. An organization can have firewalls at 3 different levels. Hardware with firmware in the modems, routers, and switches to protect the network at the source. Network server-based software firewalls for further protection, and it's easier to manage. Individual devices-based software firewalls for even further protection. End-to-end troubleshooting methodologies. There are 5 main steps. Scan for malware on a regular basis, including viruses, worms, ransomware, and spyware. Check the logs for suspicious and unusual activity. Tools such as log management software, event viewers, and command line tools can assist. Verify the network. This can be done by using tools such as ping, traceroute, NetStat or network monitoring software. Update the system. This can help fix bugs and patch security vulnerabilities. Passwords reset to stronger passwords in case of a breach. The cyber kill chain process, a framework that divides a cyber attack into 7 clear steps. Reconnaissance, when the attacker is actively looking for vulnerabilities. Weaponization, when the attacker creates a weapon they can use in the attack. Delivery, when the attacker sends the harmful tool such as malware to the target. Exploitation, when the delivered malware is activated. Installation, once the attacker gains access, the attacker can install the malware. Command and control, when the attacker sets up a communications channel with the infected system, allowing for remote control of the target. Actions and objectives, when the attacker achieves their main goal, such as data theft, service disruptions, or demanding ransom. MITRE adversarial tactics, techniques, and common knowledge. Attack. MITRE attack derives from real-world observations. It's a knowledge-based framework of tactics used by cyber attackers. MITRE attack focuses on the behavior of cyber attackers rather than just the tools. It organizes actions into goals and methods, enabling defenders to understand and detect the phases of an attack. It offers tailored detection and defense strategies for a diverse range of environments, such as endpoints, cloud, and mobile devices. It helps security teams rapidly map the attacker's tactics during an attack. It helps organizations improve their security programs by enhancing detection strategies, detecting performance, and speeding up the speed and effectiveness of a response. Topic 4. Examples of cyber attacks. Example 1. The McDonald's McHire debacle in 2025. While this was not an attack from people with nefarious intentions, a white hat team of researchers found a major flaw in McDonald's AI hiring system called McHire. The AI chatbot called Olivia and created by Paradox.ai had a rookie error that allowed easy access to the admin system. It had a test user account with the username 123456 and the most popular password in the world, 123456. Additionally, there was no MFA. The security researchers were able to gain access to the chat logs. While they couldn't access the data directly, they noticed that the applicants had a sequential ID, known as an insecure direct object reference vulnerability. Plugging in various IDs revealed their personal information. Such information could be used by criminals for an easy and effective phishing attack. For example, telling people they got the job and getting them to hand over banking details. Measures taken to secure the data. Paradox.ai took immediate action and started a bug bounty program. While I don't have the exact details of other measures taken, I would expect that they took the following steps: removing the test account, securing other admin accounts with a more secure and complex password and using multi-factor authentication, replacing the plain integer IDs with UUIDs. A UUID is a unique string that has random elements, making it difficult to guess IDs, and also auditing the security policies. Example 2. The Adobe hack. In 2013, Adobe suffered a data breach that affected at least 38 million users, possibly more. The stolen data included usernames, passwords, and even credit card details. It affected key Adobe products such as Acrobat, Photoshop, and Cold Fusion. The attackers may have exploited Adobe's Cold Fusion servers. They got access to internal networks for several weeks undetected. Adobe used reversible and weak encryption for passwords, a rookie error. The plain text password hint system was also fatally flawed. Guess what people use as the hint? Not to mention network security. Adobe was sued over unfair business practices for their alarming disregard for cybersecurity. Some of the measures taken. They overhauled their security infrastructure, improved their encryption and hashing, deployed intrusion detection systems to improve monitoring, created a bug bounty and performed more security audits. And they also informed users of the breach, including credit cards, and made them reset their passwords. Hi, this is Edgar.